Thank you so much for chatting with me today. It's lovely to meet you, Aaron. I'm Lily. I work at Prolific. We are a platform that provides research participants for all sorts of online data collection. But yeah, please may you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your role is at Outset.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me. So I'm Aaron. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Outset. And Outset is an AI moderated research platform. We were the pioneers of this new category that was basically created because large language models were so capable at conversation that we recognized the opportunity for them to actually interview people directly, right? To talk to real people. And so we're a platform where customers like Microsoft and Nestlé and Weight Watchers are using us to have AI interview participants, real people, and then synthesize all that data afterwards. So that's what we do.
Amazing. And typically, like, why would a customer choose to work with Outset, over alternatives, or what really makes you different, would you say?
Yeah, so people use Outset because you can do this thing called AI moderated research. And why does that matter? So traditionally, folks doing research, whether they're researchers or PMs or marketers or whatever the case is, when they do research, they really have two choices. They can either use a survey, which is a very kind of low fidelity kind of data, right? Everything comes in just numbers and it doesn't capture much of the context or human experience around it. So they're either doing surveys or they're doing qualitative research. And traditional qualitative research is like one-on-one interviews, right? It's very hard to scale that, to make it fast. It's very expensive. And so that's been the tools we've had. And for the first time now, there is an alternative to that. There's something where you can actually get that qualitative depth, but you're able to do it at the speed and scale that's only ever been possible with a survey. And so combining those is like a really net new capability. And again, part of that is how you collect the data, and then the other part is how you synthesize it. And so why they use us is because you're able to do all of that in a platform. And then I'm sure we're going to get to this, but like you can also find the participants through us. And so our customer relationships are all about kind of their end-to-end research.
Amazing. And could you talk us through, you mentioned a couple of names there, but could you talk us through sort of a typical research project that would be run on Outset? Like what kind of participants are they looking for? Like what kind of requirements they might have?
Well, as anybody in the research industry knows, it's like every project is its own special snowflake. And so we have everything from expert interviews for diligence and investments to mass consumer kind of concept testing, where Nestlé is like, showing, hey, there's 10 new concepts that we want to explore for, a brand within Nestlé's 2,000 brands, right? Like they want to test them with participants, with consumers out there, or, folks like Microsoft doing research on Copilot, right? Or Glassdoor doing research on job seekers. So it's both kind of, it's all about understanding preferences, motivations, opinions, pretty much across the board. We primarily work with Fortune 1000 companies. They have big research programs. They're really focused on accelerating that research. It's part of how they stay competitive. So that's the kind of projects. It really runs the gamut. And kind of even in more recent kind of last 6-12 months, we've actually been doing an increasing amount of usability testing too. And that's where you're having participants actually go through a real product in real time and have AI moderate those sessions to understand their experience.
Amazing. And before partnering with Prolific, as you mentioned, you can now recruit participants through Outset. I was just wondering, what kind of challenges were you facing in delivering like customer requirements?
Yeah, so as a startup focused on the technology of data gathering and data synthesis, it's like we're like, hey, just, here's a tool, just like a survey, like use it with your own people. Like you're already recruiting somewhere, just keep doing that and use us with that. And that would be convenient. That would be lovely if that was possible, right? If I could just be like, hey, you've already got a solution, let's like let you run with it. And by the way, a lot of customers still do that. They do still use us with their own customer panels, their own user bases, whatever the case is. But the more we learned, this was, a couple of years ago, as we were learning about kind of how research teams approach these problems, they almost always want the ability to have all in one, right? They want the ability to go to a single place and get all the things they need, and the participants is a core part of that. So like maybe the biggest reason is that customers just need us to solve that problem. So we went to you all, right, as a partner early on, so that we didn't have to solve, the problem of building a panel from scratch. The other thing that's really important is that when you're doing AI moderated research, the quality has to be good, right? And that's something that's out of our control because we don't manage a panel. But if our customers are using it with a panel that's not high quality, that is like full of fraud and very, very low quality, low kind of deep answers, then like we don't look as good, right? And so it's actually important for us to identify for our customers what panels to actually use, right? Because they would come to us with the kind of old school quant panels, the kind of traditional ones that have been around for 30 years, and those aren't as effective, right? And so again, it's like another thing that while we didn't want to build it from scratch, we wanted to partner with panels that are really high quality.
Nice. And obviously you landed on Prolific. You mentioned the quality there. Were there any other reasons why you ended up choosing to partner with Prolific?
I mean, the whole thing is basically as you go from traditional qual, which is like interview 10 people and it costs, all in 150, 200 bucks a person, right? Or even more if you're doing like expert network stuff. And quant, where you're like, how do I spend several dollars per person? It's like you need a high enough quality, but you need it at scale. And so you're kind of combining quality with cost as a constant equation, right? To hit the right thing you need. And so what we found was that Prolific had low cost when in the grand scheme of qualitative research, right? But higher quality. And that combination was exactly what's needed for AI moderated research.
Nice. And how exactly is your platform set up to work with Prolific? So if you would just walk us through, imagine you're a user coming into Outset, what would be the key steps that they would take?
Yeah, well, so whenever you create a project in Outset, right, which is usually creating a discussion guide that you're then going to run with people, you go, kind of build the guide, you go to the recruit tab, and within that tab, you can recruit on your own, or you can recruit through our partners, right? And that's right there where you can recruit through Prolific. You just set some filters, and this is all the filters that Prolific has in their system, right? About kind of pre-screening criteria, right? You want folks of a certain age, or you want different demographics, or you want kind of geographies. You just make those picks, hit publish, and the rest is done for you.
Nice. And I know you obviously would have set up the integration on your side so that it's a seamless user experience, like they don't have to think about switching platforms. How long, as a partner, how long did it take you to build the integration with Prolific? If you know.
I was gonna say, it's been actually a long time now, right? It was like maybe almost 2 years ago. I think we were, if I remember correctly, we were certainly the first within our industry to integrate with Prolific. So we kind of paved the way together, right? I think it was a first for the Prolific team, it was a first for us. So I don't actually remember the timeline, but it was reasonably straightforward. And I don't remember it taking a long time, but also your system has been, I think advanced a lot over that time period, as has ours. So it would probably be a matter of a couple of days at this point.
Yeah, no worries at all. I thought that was a stretch question. Thanks. And I was just wondering, in terms of customer feedback or any data that shows how helpful this integration has been and this partnership has been, do you have any stats or feedback you could report back?
I don't have any stats on me, but I mean, the feedback has been number one, I think a lot of our customers have pushed a lot of volume through you all, through us, and that it is able to get people to respond and complete very quickly. It is able to stay within cost constraints so that it enables our customers to really scale their usage with us, scale the sample per project, right? And I think that's been hugely valuable. I think the battle against kind of fraud and low quality has been the thing that we're all kind of battling at the same time. And I think we built some technology around that. I know you all have built Prolific's built a lot of technology around that. So I think that's been the place that we continue to push. And And yeah, I mean, I would love to. The other thing that I know I've talked to folks at Prolific about, but I'd love to see segmenting the population a bit, right? Or doing what the economists would call price discrimination, to basically say, how could people pay more for higher quality, right? Because some folks want super high quality and they'll pay for it, they're willing to, and some want to scale it and aren't necessarily, are more price sensitive, wouldn't pay as much and want that scale. And I'd love to be able to solve all of those problems with a single panel partner. And so I think that's a really cool place for advancement.
Yeah, absolutely. And something definitely that we're looking into at Prolific all the time. And I'm just thinking to like really bring to life a specific project. I don't know if you've got any like really cool customer stories that you'd be allowed to talk about where they've run it on Outset using Prolific's panel.
I wish I had prepared one. I don't know offhand which of our case studies use Prolific, and so I'm worried if I talk about it and then they're like, I didn't use Prolific, I used my own users or something. Like I just don't. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I didn't prep one.
No, don't worry at all. That's awesome. I'm just thinking, is there anything else that you would call out about the partnership, or how it's been partnering with us on this? Like any feedback or?
Yeah, I mean, it has been a fun partnership because I think, as I kind of mentioned before, like we've both been building this out together. So I think you all have a more robust API program. We have a much more robust platform. The whole industry is moving towards this kind of scaled qualitative research. And so I think like we've learned a lot from each other. And I think it's been like a really constructive partnership where we have like partnered at many levels. We've learned from each other. I've learned from folks there about what's going on. There's also a cool part like for Prolific is like, I know, some of the business is about helping folks train AI models. And then another part of the business, like with us, is about helping businesses test their AI models as a product, right? So we do a lot of work. The example is with Microsoft. They're testing what the Copilot experience is like for a user. So it's kind of interesting, that's like we're really, the whole industry is trying to get human participation in the development of great AI tools. And so I think that like we're kind of, Prolific is playing at many parts of that value chain.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. And it's been wonderful to meet you and hear all about Outset.
Yeah, same. Thank you for having me.